Welcome back to Two Camping Gurus. If you like camping the great outdoors, you are in the right place. Today, talk about this little battery operated chainsaw here. Make sure you stick around to the end so we can show you how you get your free ebook and pre-trip checklist to make sure you and your rig are ready for the road. Now let's get into the video. This channel is mainly about camping with an RV and bigger rigs. This is not something you would be putting in your backpack. But if you're an RVer and you go camping a lot and you like to have campfires like we do, something like this may just be a great option for you. You certainly can bring a handsaw and things like that to cut up your wood, but this really, if you do a lot of campfires, this thing is really great. Now this is an older model of the Earthwise battery operated chainsaw. It's 18 volt. I got a couple batteries with it. It does have a spot for oil. Keep the chain oiled. It's a very small blade. You're certainly not going to be cutting stuff like this, that's for sure. But while you're out camping, and if you come across something like this, certainly it would work on this. You can see it cut through that pretty darn good. You can cut this up into nice small logs for your campfire. Now the first thing I will say, make sure you follow all the rules of the campground you're in or wherever you're at. Some places you are allowed to cut up dead wood on the ground, but you can't touch stuff in the trees, and other places the rules are different. So make sure you know the rules of where you are and where you're camping. Now certainly this thing has some pros and cons. It does have two 18 volt batteries, so I keep one on charge. They don't have a long life, but again, this is for camping, not for really around the house doing stuff like, you know, big stuff. But you can see it goes through this pretty good. Now, some things I do like about it. One, it's pretty lightweight. It does have the grip teeth here for grabbing onto the log or, you know, stump or whatever the heck you're cutting to kind of grab in. It is a very small blade. And it holds an edge pretty good, so no issues there. Now, it does have a couple safety features. One, you do have the knuckle guard or the hand guard here, so that's nice. It is not a lock. So on bigger chainsaws, you can snap that forward and it locks the chain in place. Where this is just a cordless, the blade stops pretty quickly anyway. There is a secondary button that has to be pressed right here in order to push the trigger. So that's another safety, it won't push. You do have the option of pushing it on either this side or this side. So depending on which way you're comfortable. So that is in place. It does have some safety instructions here and some warning labels, of course. And again, this is by Earthwise, the Clean Air Choice. This is an 8-inch blade. I will say I did look online to find this particular model. This one we've had for a while, and I did not find this particular model, but Earthwise is still making cordless chainsaws and some other cordless options. So I'll put a link to at least to those, and maybe you can find this particular model, but I think there's some better, more modern ones out today, still made by Earthwise. But I've used this quite a bit and I like it. It's certainly not top of the line, and I know if you watch any videos of professional tree cutters, they go up in the trees, some of them with cordless operated chainsaws to do the stuff up high. Those are much more higher end units than this. This thing runs around $100, I believe, to about 200 depending on what model you get. Of course, the better model is probably going to be a little bit better. The chain speed is a little slow for what I would like. Again, we're talking about camping. Now you can sit there and get a handsaw and cut a bunch of stuff up, or you can hack through this stuff here pretty quick. Let me see if I can hack through something a little bit thicker and show you. Now this is a little bit thicker branch here. If I put my hand on it, you can kind of see. I can't get my hand around it. It's not super big, but it's definitely campfire size. And of course, this is dead wood, so it's a little bit easier to cut as well. Let's just say for the heck of it, you were in an area that you could cut something down. Now, this is my own property, so of course I can cut it down if I want. Now this is a live birch, about the same size as that other one we were just looking at. So let's see how to go through something live. So you can see it didn't have too much trouble there. It did get hung up on another tree. If that hadn't happened, it would have dropped and fell a lot sooner. Now, of course, this is not going to burn very good in your campfire right away because it's wet wood. But if it was something dead, you know, it can cut pretty good. So, I mean, it does go through some pretty good stuff. Let me see if I can find something a little bit bigger for you. I'll try and cut through this. Now, if it binds up on me, this saw is just not powerful enough, but you can see this is much bigger. Even 2 hands, I can't wrap my hand around it. So I don't know if this thing is laying in a way that it's gonna bind up or not, but let's just see what this thing can do. All right, you can see the trick here is not to force it. Don't put a lot of pressure on it because it just can't handle it. Now these are some of the chips I was taking off right here. So fairly decent sized chips. Probably the blade could be sharpened again, but you can see that's pretty good size. See if I can turn it so you can see the end. So you can see that's pretty good size right there. And I suspect you would not be cutting much stuff like this for camping, but you could. But it gives you an idea of the blade. So this is an 8-inch blade, and so this is probably a 7-inch log, I'd say, about 7 inches across. So in conclusion, overall, I like this little saw. It's inexpensive, and certainly for camping, it's very lightweight. You know, you can pick it up with your pinky, really with no trouble. And they have better models out today that probably run in that same price range by the same company. I know there's a lot of other ones out there by other companies that are even better, and if you want to spend the extra money, by all means go for it. But for me, for camping, for the amount we use it, something inexpensive like this works out very well. So my review on this particular one, I give it a good review. It's not great, it certainly has some downfalls. It's got, you know, the old 18-volt battery. I don't believe it's a lithium-ion battery. It is not. So it has the old battery technology, and the chain certainly does not spin up to the speed that I would like. But for camping, being out in the great outdoors and not having a gas chainsaw and all that type of stuff, this thing works just fine, and we're very happy with it. So something like this will be with us when we're on the road full-time as well. If you're in the market for a battery-operated chainsaw, I definitely can recommend this one and the Earthwise brand. I haven't had any problems with it whatsoever. Definitely, it's a budget price chainsaw in my opinion. Certainly not top of the line, but again, we've had no problems with it whatsoever for what it is. The newer ones with the lithium-ion batteries and stuff like that, you're gonna have a much better product, and I think the prices have come down on them, so they're not as bad as well. I will put a link for the Earthwise product on Amazon in the description for you to check out. Remember, do not operate any of these until you've read all the instructions. This is not a how-to video. This is just an information video on my thoughts on the cordless battery-operated chainsaw, and in this particular case, the Earthwise, and using it for camping. Have a great day, happy camping, and we'll see you in the next video. Time to light a campfire.